Hey everyone, it's Megan here from meganmins.com, and today I want to share with you how I use stream of consciousness journaling to get all of the questions and thoughts and worries and feelings out of my head onto paper so I can move on with the rest of my day. Now, one of the best things about this is that you don't need an app or a specific journal or anything really to do this except a pen and paper. And that means you can just do it today, right after watching this video. So what is stream of consciousness journaling and how do I actually use it to help clear my mind? Basically, I just sit down with a piece of paper. I use this same Moleskine journal. It's kind of nice for me to have a dedicated space for all of my stream of consciousness journaling, but you could just use a random piece of paper or a journal you already have. But I just sit down with this journal and basically write out whatever is in my head. The key is to not second guess anything you're writing and really not force the process. I typically sit there with a 5-minute timer and just start writing. And it's kind of funny, sometimes the first things I start writing, especially when I first started doing this, was I don't know what to say or this was a great morning, or wow, I slept in today, or whatever's top of mind, but it very quickly opens up as you start journaling. You'll be pretty surprised. I usually am with what comes out, and the key again is just let it happen, let it flow. Don't question anything before you write it. Just literally write it all down, stream of consciousness style, on this piece of paper or in your journal. It's funny, once I started doing stream of consciousness journaling, I find that every day is a little different. Sometimes I end up answering a question and feeling relief. Sometimes I just pour out emotions that I was holding inside and not even recognizing or acknowledging or addressing, and really bringing those to the forefront so I can be aware of them. If I can't even talk myself through that feeling, at least I can be aware of it for the rest of the day. Or maybe I even sometimes jot some notes about things I need to do today, especially those days where you wake up and you feel like you have 100 things to do. I find that sometimes just using this time to just list it all out really helps me clear my mind, because that's ultimately the goal here. So whatever you need on that individual day, there's no wrong way to do this. Just set that timer and write for the full length of time and let it come out and just see what happens. And no matter what I ended up writing about that day, or how long I ended up writing for, or even where I was writing, I always feel a sense of relief and clarity at the end of the journaling session. And that is, I think, why this habit has been so easy for me to do every day, even on the weekends, because I do feel physically and mentally different after I take the time to do it. Now, after I'm done stream of consciousness journaling, I do kind of wrap this up in a nice little bow, because like I said, you never know what you're going to uncover. And I do like to end things on a bit more of a positive and encouraging note for myself. So no matter how much or how long I've written, I will list out 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes some of them are the same, like I might say my husband or my best friend or a teammate a few different times. But I will also try to pick out something that I haven't maybe recognized my gratefulness for. So I work from home, and a lot of times it's the internet, which sounds silly, but I couldn't do what I do without the internet. And if you've ever had a day where your internet is slow or goes down, you can be grateful for it. So sometimes it's the internet, sometimes it's today, sometimes it's the sun, sometimes it's my apartment. It can be anything, but I like to list out 3 things I'm grateful for, and I literally number 1, 2, 3. I'm grateful for blank. Sometimes when you're journaling, you might be frustrated or you might be stressed out. Hopefully you feel that same sense of clarity at the end, but I do feel like kind of acknowledging at the end things you're grateful for really helps kind of shift the perspective for you before you start your day, especially if you do this in the morning like I do, or even before bed. And then at the end, I like to do affirmations. And I know that might sound a little woo-woo to some of you if you've never started doing affirmations. I find that my affirmations are different every day, and they're usually very reflective of what I had been writing. So for example, if I was journaling about something that was happening, maybe an important meeting happening later the day that I was feeling a little insecure or nervous about, I will often write an affirmation directly contradictory to that fear I had. So if I was feeling a lack of confidence, I would say, I'm confident, I'm great at leading meetings, I'm a natural decision maker, I have authority, I'm a great COO, anything like that. And so there are a few that probably do repeat themselves a lot. I have a lot of fear when it comes to what people think about me. And so I'll often say, I'm enough, I am confident, I am worthy. Those are ones that I tend to say quite a bit. But really, whatever comes to mind. And it's kind of just this like internal pep talk. And I, again, feel so different when I do it. So if you've never written down affirmations to yourself, I highly encourage you do it. I typically just say, I'm, or I am if you want, I am blank, period. And I just like list them out in a row as like a big old paragraph. And some days, you know, it's 2 or 3 sentences, and other days, or 2 or 3 lines, other days it's half a page. And you really just get into a flow. And once you start to feel the impact of those words on your own mental state, then it really becomes this powerful thing that can really transform your attitude and your confidence in yourself and your abilities and make you feel really good about the day. I often find myself feeling a lot more secure in all of the feelings that I had in that morning of insecurity or fear or nervousness or worry or anxiety. Through the process of journaling, being grateful, and affirming myself, it all goes away, and I can sit down and start my day and just feel so clear and confident. So that has been so helpful for me. And this is usually something I do first thing in the morning. I'll get up, I'll rinse my face, and I will sit down in my dining room and fill this out. And I actually always leave this out in the dining room. And it's kind of also a visual cue for me to do it, even on days where I'm busy. So this is always sitting out there with a pen, and I will just sit down and set a little timer and whip it out. So I like to do it in the morning. I have talked to some friends that do this now, and they've been doing it in the evenings before bed as well. So really make this your own. I definitely think that it's a great thing to have in your routine in the morning to start the day, but definitely feel like it's something you can use throughout the day or before bed. So if you find yourself a little crazy midday, or you know your mind is just racing before bed, definitely think you should feel free to use this at any time. You can kind of look at it as like a little lifeboat when your brain just feels a little overwhelmed. So that's what I do, but I definitely do it every single morning, if not at other times in the day. So if you're interested in doing some stream of conscious journaling and following kind of this 3-part format that I use in the morning, you can download a free printable that I've made for you that will just kind of get you started and give you this framework so that you can just sit down and whip this out really quickly. So if you're interested in downloading that for free, definitely click the link below this video and you'll get that right in your inbox. Now, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you currently do any kind of journaling? Do you do stream of consciousness journaling? Some people call it morning pages. And if you use my free printable, I'd also love to hear from you how it felt and what you learned from it. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys there. I haven't done this yet. Need to look here. Do I have a sticky note? Stream of consciousness. I think I should start over. Now this is, I'm rambling. Oh, it's not.